After getting through the last few moons I needed to 100% Super Mario Odyssey, those mainly being just volleyball, which I had to do without using Joy-Con keys. Anyway, after getting through that, I decided to give the game another playthrough, and after getting through the main campaign, decided to do Dark Side, and I wondered, is it possible to beat it without jumping? And that's what the idea of this video is, so hopefully it's possible. It may seem impossible, but there are a few technical things here and there, which means that it might actually be possible to beat it 100%. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. This is in the style of Steve Gaming, music, etc. Just sort of a documentary of my journey through it. Quick video. Hope you enjoy. So to start off with, you may be wondering how we're going to actually beat Dark Side without jumping. Well, there are a few ways of gaining height in Super Mario Odyssey without jumping. One of them is to throw your cap and to walk into it, which makes you jump without jumping effectively. And it still lets you throw your cap and jump, and throw your cap, dive and bounce off it. That's the main way of gaining height without jumping. And you're also able to wall jump without, because that doesn't count as a jump, because there is an in-game jump counter. You probably know about it already. According to, if you go to the Mushroom Kingdom, the moon list, and there are achievement moons from Toadette, and one of them is to jump 10,000 times, so that displays the jump counter, and wall jumps don't count towards it. So the main way of gaining height is through a cap. So for the first few sections, the Goomba section, and the section where you're wall jumping between the rising and lowering sort of pillars that you can climb on, that section's pretty standard. I mean, you don't really have to jump. Even if it says jump, it's not necessarily a jump according to the game. So you can wall jump and things, that's allowed. So that section's pretty easy. And then there's this section. It doesn't really look like there's any way of getting across these metal platforms without jumping. You can't really throw a cap because they move so quickly. It seems like it's really almost impossible. However, it turns out that it is actually possible. So there are these sort of other sort of metal walls that are placed along the way, which is supposed to block your way, just to make it harder to jump across the moving metal platforms and lava. However, you can actually use these as a platform. They're very thin, but you can just about get on them. So if by walking into your cap, if Mario walks into his cap, then moving forward, throwing your cap, diving, jumping off it, and then ground pounding so that you lose all your horizontal momentum, and you can land on each platform, and then from each of these platforms you can do the same thing. It's very precise, or not, it's pretty precise at least, and you can actually get over to the fireball section, just about, which is surprising. So the next two sections of Darker Side all involve captures. So you've got the Podoboo or fireball jumping section, the uproot section, and then also the Yoshi section, which is sort of Steam Gardens, the flower roads. Anyway, so it seems like there's an issue because the captures like Yoshi and fireballs, you have to complete an action which says jump. However, luckily, jumping or any action within a capture does not contribute to the jump counter or to the capture counter. Or to the cap throw, because you can't throw a cap in a capture. Anyway, so it doesn't contribute to the jump counter, which means you don't have to worry about jumping in any capture sections, which is always good news. Now the next section involves a scarecrow, and scarecrows make Cake Cappy, because you capture them sort of, and that means we don't have Cappy, and if we don't have Cappy we can't jump without jumping, and that means you can't really beat the next section, which is a problem. However, as always, there is cheese, and if you throw your cap and then shake to make it home, you can capture the scarecrow and go up on the platform to the next area without having to jump. So after the section with the scarecrow where we had to use the cheese, it's the section with glide on, and that just, well, it's the same as normal because there's a capture, and captures don't affect the jump counter. And the same thing goes for the forks that are part of normally in Lunch Kingdom, but in the Dark Side. So those two sections are as normal because captures don't affect the jump counter, as I've already said. The next part though is quite hard. It's the part where we have that moving platform where there's burbos, there's all those spiky things that jump at you, and pulse beams, which are things which you hit with Cappy and then they go out in a pulse of a beam, orange beam. Anyway, those are quite annoying because chain reactions between the pulse beams happen, and if you can't jump, it's annoying to avoid them, so you have to try to not hit the pulse beam. It is just about possible to do though, it's just very hard. Well, not very hard, I managed to do it, but it was pretty hard. The next section with Pokio is as normal because it's a capture section and doesn't influence the jump counter. Lastly though, is, well, it would be the 8-bit section with Donkey Kong, but you can't do that at all because there's absolutely no way of not jumping in it. And you can't jump without jumping in 8-bit sections because there's no Cappy, you can't wall jump, etc. So it means you can't really do anything. However, luckily you can just do the glide on cheese to get over to the Bowser painting, so it's actually just fine. It's a bit annoying to do, but you can do it. So now that we've reached the Bowser painting, it's time to jump in, and it's the Bowser section. And the Bowser section, because it's a capture, doesn't matter whether you jump or not, so that section's easy as normal, and that means we've pretty much beaten the dark side at this point. And the last section with the frog is also easy. You just have to jump with the frog, and that's allowed because it's capture. So we finally reached the top of the New Donk City Tower, which is basically the one from New Donk City but in Darker Side, and we've collected the multi-moon for Long Journey's End, and surprisingly, yeah, it has actually been possible to collect this multi-moon without jumping. Well, you have to jump in like the early parts of the game, but the Darker Side section itself is possible without jumping, which I'm sort of surprised about. Luckily there is cheese for some things, and that's good. We've managed to beat it and gotten the invisibility cap. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment any suggestions to improve videos, like and subscribe, and share with friends, family, etc. So they can enjoy content hopefully. And hopefully I'll be putting out more videos like this one if I have time. Should be able to do a few more like this, maybe other Dark Side challenges. Anyway, comment your suggestions below. Hope you enjoy the video. This is Clash Gaming, and peace out.